Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the 12 Days of Fantasy Bookings. I am indeed Nate the effing Great, and I am indeed an effing genius, no ding required. So, for this episode, I thought I'd take a look back at one of the careers, especially year one, where it had so much potential to be so good, but unfortunately, it definitely did not work out like we fans wanted it to. And I'm mainly talking about Shinsuke Nakamura, and not his first year on the NXT roster. No. That was actually one of the best things that he could possibly do. I'm actually talking about his first year on the main roster. So what exactly happened with Shinsuke Nakamura? Well, I mean, he debuted pretty good. It was one of those situations where, he came out after WrestleMania, and he, of course, had the Violence deal, which, oh my god, that's always so good. He made a debut at Backlash against Dolph Ziggler, which was still a pretty good matchup between the two of them. We then really had, on and off deals with him. He then got involved in the Money in the Bank matchup, in which he got attacked by Baron Corbin, and then we also got that great showdown between AJ Styles and Nakamura, which was definitely one of those things they were building up to quite a bit. But then he would go on to face John Cena in a match on SmackDown, which was kind of stupid, to say the least. Then we got the whole him versus Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam, and then Hell in a Cell, which were honestly not really good matches, to say the least. They were literally one of those things that made us question and hate so many things. He then got eliminated as part of Team SmackDown. He didn't really do that much until I think it was Royal Rumble, where he won the Royal Rumble. Then he had a match with Rusev at Fastlane. And then he had his underwhelming match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And then he turned heel, and then it kind of went pretty fast downhill from there. I feel bad for the guy. So, like I said, there was potential for this to be absolutely great, but the problem is that the booking was just horrible, and it definitely hit a major roadblock when he had Jinder Mahal, and then they just didn't know what really to do with him. So, what can I do? Well, I could definitely do it better. So here's the thing. The night after WrestleMania always has to be a big deal. So definitely want to keep Nakamura's debut very special. As much as I like the idea of him showing up on SmackDown, if you're only going to have him wrestle at Backlash instead of the matches building up to it, don't have him on TV. Honestly, what I would do is I would have Shinsuke Nakamura have a promo deal where they show highlights of his career all the way to the build-up to Backlash. So basically, it's one of those vignettes where they build up this deal where it's like, hey, Shinsuke Nakamura is coming to SmackDown, and he's debuting at Backlash. And honestly, I would still keep the same thing with him and Dolph Ziggler. Have Dolph Ziggler basically saying, oh, Shinsuke Nakamura, he's not that much of a wrestler. He is an entrance, him doing the whole deal where he's mocking everybody's entrances, stuff like that. I still liked that. I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, to be fair, I think that the problem was that, some people took it a little bit as disrespectful, which is not at all what it should have been. I think that they should have definitely done something different with it. But, that being said, I still think that it was good to have Dolph Ziggler get that kind of cheap heat with that. So, I would definitely still keep that, and definitely still have the matchup be Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler at Backlash. And honestly, guys, I wouldn't really change anything about that. I would still have an impressive showing with Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler. And I would still have Nakamura go over with the Kinshasa. So Nakamura picks up his first major victory on a bigger stage. And he continues that all the way to Money in the Bank. He takes on a couple of random competitors, maybe a couple of tag team competitors, stuff like that. And I would still keep the whole deal with Baron Corbin the same, because I think that it was kind of a good way to really get that heat for Baron Corbin, especially for him being a heel. Baron Corbin would still win the Money in the Bank ladder match. But now here's where things would get a little bit different. So, John Cena does indeed come back. And we're not going to have that stupid flag match that happened at Battleground. Oh, God, no. Because A, he already beat Rusev. There's no point in that. And B, it doesn't make sense. It was just one of those matches that was just so pointless. So I'm going to basically take two matchups that actually were definitely really bad on that show, and I'm going to turn it into more of a positive. So basically John Cena comes back and he's just saying, I am ready to prove myself again as a worthy competitor for a champion, for the WWE Championship. I'm going to be, face the company, do. He lays out an open challenge for Battleground. And who will answer this? Why, Shinsuke Nakamura, of course. And it's announced that on SmackDown, they will have a contract signing, so the two of them sign a contract, and they even raise the stakes that the winner of this Battleground matchup will fight the WWE Champion. Nakamura, John Cena fighting off at Battleground, and we get that instant classic that we saw on SmackDown, because honestly, if you really want people to enjoy your events, you want to give them matches that they never thought that they would see. So we have that matchup, we still have a great slugfest between the two of them, and in the end, we would see Shinsuke Nakamura picking up a huge victory over John Cena on the Battleground event. So, with that, we have Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal slated for a WWE Championship match on SmackDown just a couple weeks later. In the end, though, Baron Corbin would actually cost Nakamura the matchup by interfering and defeating. He would actually lose to Jinder Mahal via disqualification after Baron Corbin clunks Jinder over the head. Referee calls for the bell. So it's kind of one of those things where now Jinder is just thinking like, Nakamura, you had your shot. Get in the back of the line. So Nakamura and Baron Corbin, they're just starting to feud. They're battling all over. We still get the same thing with Baron Corbin trying to cash in on Jinder before SummerSlam, but it's not John Cena that cost him that. No, it's Shinsuke Nakamura that cost him the title shot, because it makes more sense. You have an actual feud going on here. You kind of want to have it be one of those things where it's like, hey, now we're even. You cost me my shot, I cost you yours. And I think the fans will definitely be a little more receptive, because they'll realize that, hey, we wanted to have Nakamura be WWE Champion. Baron Corbin's trying to be WWE Champion. Hey, Nakamura stops it. Yay. Something like that. So, we build up Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. Because honestly, it's going to be, I think that's a better matchup choice than, Jinder versus Nakamura, because, oh God, those two matches, why? So, and to really replace Nakamura, a lot of people I'm sure are asking, what about Jinder? What's he going to do at SummerSlam? Well, he's going to fight John Cena, who won a Battle Royal on SmackDown to earn that opportunity. And yes, he will indeed be taking on Jinder Mahal at the SummerSlam as well as at Hell in a Cell, because I honestly do believe that John Cena could make a huge star with Jinder Mahal. So we get, like I said, we get Nakamura versus Baron Corbin at SummerSlam. Nakamura picks up the victory, and we kind of move on from that. But there's still a little bit of unresolved business between the two of them, in which we see them kind of still interfering, kind of still talking trash with each other, and that boils into the U.S. title picture, whereas at Hell in a Cell, we get a four-way matchup between Nakamura, Corbin, Orton, and Styles, because AJ Styles and Orton decided to have a little bit of a feud of their own going into, I'm trying to remember, it's just kind of like one of those mini feuds that they're doing, which eventually will get AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal. That I wouldn't really change too much. But right here, I definitely would still keep Styles losing, but I would actually have Shinsuke Nakamura pick up the U.S. title here at Hell in a Cell. Not pinning, Not pinning AJ Styles, though. No. We still get a little bit of an interaction between Styles and Nakamura, but we still don't get that definitive result between the two of them. We still are kind of thinking, okay, they kind of are, grazing each other here and there, but they're not quite to that point where it's like, hey, we're ready for them to, combat against each other. So Nakamura actually pins Randy Orton to become the new United States champion. We get a matchup with Nakamura and Baron Corbin on SmackDown for the U.S. title. Nakamura picks up the victory. He can move on from there. We actually then transition from Nakamura and Corbin to Nakamura and Orton, and of course that will take place at the Night of Champions event, but Nakamura still does his deal where as a babyface he's doing the, Knock America Open Challenge, you can call it. I think that's still kind of one of those cool things that you could do even with him as a face. And we also get Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz at Survivor Series. Because in all honesty, who doesn't want to see that? That actually just sounds really, really good now that I think about it. I mean, I want that match so badly right now. So we get that Nakamura picks up the victory. He overcomes the odds with, the Miz Taraj, and the Miz beats Miz at Survivor Series. And then Nakamura could then refocus on facing off against Randy Orton for the United States Championship at Night of Champions. Because honestly, you guys, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we don't need Orton involved in a tag match that has him and Shane taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That just does not sound good. It really doesn't. I don't understand why that was even a thing, but right here we're getting that matchup on SmackDown with Nakamura and Orton. Now we're getting it here at Clash of... Well, actually, I think it was Clash of Champions, not Night of Champions. I apologize. To really the no surprise of anyone, Nakamura picks up the victory over Randy Orton. And then we move on to him winning the Royal Rumble. So after that, obviously, a lot of people are thinking like, oh, well, he's probably going to battle AJ Styles. Yep, we still get the deal where he says he's going to challenge AJ Styles for the WWE title at WrestleMania. Now, people are probably going to speculate, well, it's going to be a champion versus champion matchup, title for title. That'll make this matchup very interesting. Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not exactly going to happen. So, Shinsuke Nakamura has been still continuing to do his deal where he's doing that, Knock America Open Challenge, defeating everyone after everyone, having really good matches, just building himself up more. On one night in particular, though, he kind of comes to bite him in the ass, literally. So Nakamura is challenged by the one, the only Bobby Roode. And this is kind of one of those things where nostalgic fans who remember NXT, they're like, oh my gosh, we're getting Bobby Roode versus Nakamura. We're going to see Nakamura beat Bobby Roode, aren't we? We're going to see that happen. Again, sorry to burst your bubble, we're seeing Bobby Roode be the one who pins Nakamura on his main roster deal. Bobby Roode actually turns heel during this matchup. He's a babyface built up to this point. He turns heel by giving a cheap shot to Nakamura. Maybe uses brass knuckles. Yeah, we'll do the brass knuckles. He uses brass knuckles on Nakamura, hits the glorious DDT, and then picks him up. Does that deal where he's able to hit one and then connect with another one immediately after that. Pins Nakamura to become the United States champion. Nakamura, of course, just saying, I want my shot at the title again. And Bobby Roode's just saying, you don't deserve that shot. But since I beat you, I think that I should be the one who fights AJ Styles at WrestleMania. So I think that you should face me and put your title shot on the line. And Nakamura realizes that he's not going to get his rematch for the U.S. title. He's kind of like, all right. But he also realizes that if he wants to really be ready for AJ Styles at WrestleMania, he has to overcome so many of his past demons, and one of them is, of course, Bobby Roode. Because if you remember, Bobby Roode actually ended Shinsuke Nakamura's second run as NXT champion, and he defeated him in a rematch. And now he defeated him for the U.S. title, so it's kind of one of those things where some people might disagree that this is more prestigious than the title. But Nakamura realizes that, he needs to really be ready. So he agrees. We get Bobby Roode versus Nakamura at Fastlane, in which we see Nakamura and Bobby Roode putting on a huge wrestling clinic. In the end, we see Bobby Roode try to go for the glorious DDT. Shinsuke Nakamura is able to counter, hit his reverse suplex, Kinshasa, and he decides, that's not enough. He's willing to prove a message to AJ Styles. Hits a second Kinshasa. He's thinking, nope, that's not enough either. A third Kinshasa to Bobby Roode, pinning him 1, 2, 3. Nakamura retains his title shot at AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And Fastlane ends with Nakamura and Styles in the middle of the ring, looking at each other, looking at the WrestleMania sign, and AJ Styles holding the WWE Championship high above his head. So we get the build-up that we would get between Nakamura and Styles. Both of them, they kind of just, brush shoulders here and there. They're really building up their momentum here and there. And with the final SmackDown, we actually see Nakamura and Styles team up in a winning deal against Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode. And after the match is over, we see them kind of doing like the whole laughing, and they're kind of like pushing each other, and kind of it goes from like the light shove to another shove, a more vicious push. AJ Styles smacks Nakamura in the face. Nakamura, he kind of has that look of like, oh, boy's gonna die. And then he just smiles. We get that brawl between AJ Styles and Nakamura here on SmackDown. Nakamura goes for the Kinshasa. He gets countered. AJ Styles tries to go for the Styles Clash. Nakamura rolls out of the ring. And we see, again, AJ Styles is in the middle of the ring, holding the WWE Championship high above his head. Nakamura is looking at him with a little bit of disdain, but he has that little smirk in his face like, this is going to be a really good matchup. So it's WrestleMania time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, obviously, the match that we got was a bit disappointing, and I think the reason why was because they were not given too much time. They had to basically have more time bled over to the Roman versus Brock match. Well, we're taking time away from that, and we're adding more minutes to this. So we get basically the same matchup that we have here. We see Styles hit the Styles Clash out of nowhere. 1, 2, Nakamura kicks out. Kinshasa, 1, 2, Styles kicks out. It's literally just a slugfest between the two of them. They're hitting hard. They're being ferocious. It's a really good matchup between the two of them. Great storytelling from the commentators talking about, hey, they battle against each other and they hit each other just as hard as they did in Japan, just building that up. Nakamura hits a second Kinshasa, 1, 2, Styles kicks out. Styles hits a phenomenal forearm, 1, 2, Nakamura kicks out. They're both just thinking, what the hell do we have to do to just, end this? Nakamura goes for he slingshots AJ Styles into the referee. Referee is down, and Nakamura is just looking up. He's just looking around. He's just thinking to himself, God, what am I going to have to do? Now I got to get the referee up, ready to go. He kind of gets the referee in motion. AJ Styles is ready. Boom, kicks him in the midsection. Sets him up. He's getting ready for the Styles Clash. But then Nakamura low blows AJ Styles. Nakamura has just this grin on his face. And he's thinking, yeah, I got this. 1, 2, 3 massive Kinshasas to AJ Styles. Referee finally comes to. Nakamura goes into the cover. 1, 2, 3. We see Nakamura becoming the new WWE Champion at WrestleMania, and he also turns heel. We end that feud, but we start a new feud between the two of them, where again Styles can basically say, you had to cheat to beat me. We get a couple of really good rematches between the two of them. I would have Nakamura hold the title probably until Money in the Bank, in which, I think Styles definitely deserves to regain the title at that point. But then again, maybe Nakamura retains again, and he can carry that over into a feud with Samoa Joe. There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to Nakamura. I really loved AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, but I also love when they can just pick up history in NXT with these kind of former NXT stars. But yeah, that's how I would book Nakamura's first year. Honestly, it accomplished a lot. It gave Nakamura some really good matches. We got some better feuds out of it. He got a brief U.S. title run. He finished up his deal with Baron Corbin. He had some great matches with Orton and Cena on the big events. He got to finish up his rivalry with Bobby Roode. And, we still get kind of the same thing that happened at WrestleMania this year, only Nakamura wins the title and he's still being a heel. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, if you're not going to break the record of CM Punk's with the WWE title, why not just still have a really good feud that really gives the championship so much more prestige? That's just my opinion. All right, like I said, that's how I would book the first year of Nakamura. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So be sure to tune in for day 3. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these 12 days of fantasy bookings. I will continue to do this throughout the month of December, you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Be sure to give us a like on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and also leave your comments below. Give this a share, give us a like. Go check us out on YouTube, on Spreaker.com, as well as iHeartRadio. And guys, it's only beginning, but it's only going to get a lot better from here. Have a good one, you guys. I will talk to you in the next episode.